And supposedly we're live. So hello and welcome to the Legends of Tabletop podcast. We're getting ready to start a new campaign. We're going to be playing Cthulhu Invictus with Oscar Rios at the helm. We've got a couple of special guests with us. As some of you who are regular listeners may know, we have some real life things happening in the background. We may be losing Neil for a little bit. So Oscar has graciously stepped in to run an Invictus game for us. So I'm going to kick it over to him. I'm going to let him explain Cthulhu Invictus a little bit, and then we'll intro ourselves and our characters, and we'll jump into some gameplay.
Okay, Cthulhu Invictus is basically Call of Cthulhu in the time of the Roman Empire. Specifically for my game, it's the reign of about the middle of the reign of Antoninus Pius, right before Marcus Aurelius. So the empire, large, fat, and at peace. During one of the longest periods of peace. But for our investigators, there is no peace. They know that there's not a day that goes by in the Roman Empire that they are not at war against the forces, the insidious hidden forces of the Cthulhu mythos. What's great about Cthulhu Invictus is that the people of the Roman Empire were a very superstitious people. They believed in the gods. They believed in fate. They believed in magic. And they believed in monsters. So if you could prove someone was casting spells and cursing you, you could have them arrested, prove it in court, and that person would be executed. So unlike the Roman Empire, the police may believe you, but you're going to need proof and a good lawyer. So we are starting our adventure on the island of Britannia, where I have been spending an awful lot of time lately. And we have 4 adventurers meeting to accept a assignment, and I'll let them introduce themselves now.
Okay, my name is Doreena Hermula. I often butcher my own name. It's something I do. I am from the town of, once again, Camulodium in Britannia. And once again, just not good at pronouncing things. I am a shepherd. I have a beautiful flock that I'm very proud of. If I'm not working with my sheep, I am hunting. And I have a crossbow that is near and dear to my heart.
And what do you specifically hunt?
I usually hunt shapeshifters. As my dear friend unfortunately turned into one.
She's Little Red Riding Hood. Well,
it's a living.
Pretty much. Something I'm cursed with dealing with.
I don't know what I was smoking when I rolled that character up, but God, it must have been good.
I'm definitely excited to play her, and this is fantastic in every way.
She's been very popular since she's come on the convention scene.
Honestly, I probably just needed to dye my hair blonde, and I'm good to go. I got the freckles. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I am Malachi Ben Zakai. I am a bodyguard by profession. Originally, I'm from Jerusalem, but due to some turmoil and strife there, my family home was burned, and I ended up becoming a refugee with my family. 2 younger brothers. A younger brother and 2 younger sisters. And my mom, we emigrated to Rome, where I've been making a living as a bodyguard for basically anybody that needs to hire me. And I hang out in the baths in Rome looking for work. And often that work takes me on pretty far-flung trips around the empire. As long as I can stay with some connection and keep the money flowing to my family that I'm taking care of and care dearly for, I'm happy to do some traveling.
Jesse, you're up. Oh, I thought I was going to get queued in. Hi, I am Jesse playing Herminius Rusticus. He is a finder So basically, anything you need, he will try to find for you, whether it's a person or a certain food or a story or a tidbit of information.
Usually it's dirt.
Dirt. Well, yes, but I'm trying to be nice about it.
You're not looking for that lost dog. You're looking for that mistress or that person smuggling coins
or that
out of the
lost dog.
Yeah.
Yes, but he is a rather handsome man. Needs that to be able to get around the streets and get around society. He is generally quite suave and basically just knows how to get his way around the city and around people.
And what do you specialize in finding?
What do I specialize in finding?
Do you mean besides dirt?
Herminius is the one of the most famous witch hunters in the Empire.
Oh, here we go.
Ooh.
And Macrion.
This is John. I'm playing Macrion of Corinthus. He is a scholar. He's a large barrel-chested man. He's a very physical person, aside from being a scholar. He believes in keeping a balance between both mind and body. Knowledge is power, but a keen mind and a weak body is a waste of potential.
Inspired by a friend of mine, John. So Macrion was actually a character rolled up in one of my first games.
Nice.
And he basically, his family's from Sparta. His mom's a proud Spartan. So if he's going to roll up a Greek scholar, it's going to be this barrel-chested Greco-Roman wrestling scholar. So again, I salute you, John, wherever you are. Okay, so we are going to say that everyone make a no roll and tell me if you get a hard success.
Holy shit, we're rolling dice already.
This goes against every single Legends of Tabletop game.
Oh, I rolled an 02, so I think so.
Okay, give me a 1d3.
All right.
Oh wait, you rolled an O. Was that an extreme success?
I believe so. I'm trying to find my no on here. Strength, con, move rate. I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding it too.
I rolled an 82, so I don't even really know my name currently.
Oof. Well, I rolled a 94. I don't think that's rolling under anything.
I got a 3, so I think I'm pretty good.
Give me 1 second, guys.
Is that an edu roll essentially?
No, and Ed is the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my education's a 90.
Okay, so Herminius,
Oh man, that's a 90.
Herminicus and Malachi, you don't know Macrion or Doreena. You've never heard of them. You don't recognize them. The names don't mean anything to you. But Macrion and Doreena, you've heard of one another, and you've heard of the other two. For some reason, you're just very well informed about them. So you know that Malachi is a very well-known bodyguard. He's escorted a lot of very important people in and out of very perilous situations. And Herminius, again, somebody who brings sorcerers and magi to justice for the Empire. It's not something, it's someone whose name gets around. So Doreena, Macrion is a scholar. He's supposed to be an expert in the fallen kingdoms. And Macrion, that Doreena is a hunter of man beasts.
Okay.
So we are actually in, I believe, Doreena's hometown of Camulodunum. And for all the Latin majors and British people, please forgive my pronunciation.
Same here. I live here and I don't even know how to pronounce it. So
you've actually been summoned by a one of the wealthier people in town named Fidelius Affer.
oh, I'm wearing my good clothes. Thank you.
Okay. As you get to his estate, you see there are like 6 wagons quickly being loaded with barrels of fresh water, hardtack, dried meats, some mostly dried fish because you're a port town. And the people from the bakeries are coming over and they're bringing bushels of bread, and people are delivering amphora in these huge jugs of wine concentrate. Interesting historical fact: wine was sold by the concentrate. You didn't usually buy wine; you bought wine concentrated and you mixed it with water to make it as strong or as weak as you wanted. So next time you're making tang at home, just so it looks like they're putting together a lot of material very quickly. His right hand, his personal secretary, brings you in, and you've never. All right, Doreena, make a luck roll. And this is only because, by some weird quirk, your character's from here.
So
I honestly forgot you were from here when I set the adventure here.
38 out of 65, so I definitely passed.
You've met him. And is that a hard success?
No, unfortunately, it is not.
Okay, you have met him. You've worked for people he knows, so you've come recommended.
Fantastic. Do I know anybody else? Possibly when I walked in, the merchants who were bringing in supplies.
Yes, there are a few people that you know in that caravan.
Okay.
Okay. He comes in. He says, "Doreena, good to see you again, gentlemen." He says, "You must be Herminius," and he says that to Marcion.
No, I am Marcion.
The scholar?
Yes.
And he kind of takes a step back and he looks at your broad shoulders and he says, "Well, okay, well met then." And then he looks at the two of you and he says, "You must be Herminius." To Herminius this time.
And he will give him a half bow, nod of the head.
And you must be Malachi.
That's right.
Your reputations precedes you. You are all known to be very capable people. There's important work that needs to be done. It needs to be done quickly, and there is no room for error. I am willing to pay for your expert services to get this done as quickly as possible. As you can see, that we're getting a relief caravan of supplies ready. This will be heading north as soon as it's ready. I don't know if you're aware of the plague outbreak north of us in Venta Icenorum.
I hadn't heard. Is this a new development?
Yes, it's very new. It's been going on for about 2 weeks now. There was some sort of a high tide flood, and after that, people started getting very sick, and soon after started dying. The legionaries came in with a corps of physicians to start treating the illness and decided that it was so contagious the city needed to be contained.
He kind of squints and he looks over at Doreena and he says, This is an interesting group that you've put together. Are there is there anything else that we need to be made aware of?
He says, usually I wouldn't be paying or hiring people of your caliber for something so simple. But the fact of the matter is the doctor in charge of the outbreak is the younger brother of my wife.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
His name is Novius Getha, Immunis Novius Getha. And we're worried about him. We wish that he were elsewhere, but this is his calling. So we want to give him all the supplies he needs so he can put this under control quickly and come home to his sister and family. It's not a long road north, but it will take you more than a day. There cannot be any delays.
Understood.
You're to get these supplies to the city, deliver them to the magistrate there. Hold on. First time running this, so I may have to pause to scan through my text.
Oh my God, you're gonna make me do so much editing.
Julius Tutor is the magistrate inside Venta Icenorum. I have a manifest for him here to get his signature on it.
Okay.
Then you are to find my brother-in-law, deliver him this package, and a slave comes forward, and it's basically a large duffel bag filled with, extra clothes, letters from his family, a bottle of wine, some heavy incense, and extra fresh bandages and medical supplies. So it's basically a care package to this doctor in a plague a plague lockdown city.
Sure.
He says, I don't think that it would be too much of a challenge for people of your caliber. He says, so I'm willing to pay each of you 1,000 sesterci, or half of that, and grant you a 50% discount on any of the stores I own in the city for the next 5 years. He is actually, hold on a second. He's a merchant importer by trade. So he owns about 4 different stores of different sort of things. He owns a spice store, a wine store, a fabric store, anything that's brought in. You're a port city, so you're not one of the major importing ports into Britannia, but you are one of them. So he deals with a lot of stuff in Britain that you can't get elsewhere.
A generous offer, but coin in hand is always worth more. Yeah.
He says, well, I can pay you 250 now, and you can tell me if you want 250 more or 750 when you get back.
Excellent.
I'll take the 250 now.
Okay, he pays you, and it says that when you get back, I may have need of you to deliver another column, especially if the plague has spread or if the situation has actually gotten worse.
Okay.
So if there are any other questions, now'd be the time to ask.
My question, is there danger that this wagon of supplies could possibly face that we should be aware of in advance?
The 4 of you are the only guards for all 8 wagons.
8 wagons.
He says, although it's food and wine and water and bread, these supplies aren't cheap. And there might be opportunists wishing to make them their own. If people have fled the city or they're fleeing nearby towns, there may be refugees on the road. I cannot afford any delay in the delivery of these supplies.
Other than the 8 wagons, are we bringing anything else?
No, there'll be teamsters to, caravan guys, so they can feed and tend to the mount, the oxen, and run the wagons. You can ride on the wagons, you can walk beside them, whatever is to your liking. But you are the security, and you are in charge.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Is there anything perhaps suspect or not quite on par within the wagons that we should know about, just in case there might be anybody looking for something specific here? I don't need specifics.
He stiffens,
yes.
And he says, I feel I'm being accused of something, Herminius.
No.
So I did not mishear you then. Or perhaps I did. Because it seemed I was being accused of hiding something in my own wagons.
No, just if there is anything that perhaps specific people might be coming after, other than just food and general supplies.
Make a charm roll.
That is a 27 out of 55, so hard success, just on.
He composes himself, turns away from you, hands a wax tablet to Marcion, and he says, here's the manifest. And I assure you, it's quite accurate.
Well, give him a bow then.
Sure it is. Is there anything about the nature of the plague which we need to be aware of before we go? Any special precautions that we may need to take?
Good question.
Would do us no good to be
judging by what my wife tells me. Her brother has requested lots of food and lots of water. Apparently, he doesn't want anyone drinking or eating anything that was in the city at the time of the flood. He thinks that it may be connected to the plague. I'm not really sure how. So, if you would like to stop by the kitchen to draw double rations, so that you're bringing food in, and I would suggest you not eating anything when you're within a league of the city.
Yeah, interesting. Change in the humor, some foul miasma perhaps brought about by the flood.
It's not my territory. You can talk at length to my brother-in-law. He'll speak to you until you're wishing you were asleep on such matters. But
Yes.
It's beyond me. All I knew is that I was to send as much food and water as I could, as quickly as I could.
And we will make sure to do that.
All right. We basically bid you on your way. Godspeed your path. I'll make an offering for your success.
Thank you. So we are definitely getting the double rations before we walk out, correct?
For sure.
If you wish, they will give you double dried rations. You will have enough food for 10 days. It's only a 2-day trip.
Okay.
And they are hard travel rations. So if you wanted to go to like half rations, you could even stretch some of that out. But again, it's only a 2-day trip away.
As we go over to do that, Marcion kind of sidles up next to Doreena and says, hopefully we will not need your special skills while we're on this mission.
I don't want to use it, but if I have to, if the gods wish, then that's what I will do.
Indeed, it is for them to decide.
Yes.
I'm largely been kind of standing a little bit in the background, just sort of observing and listening. But I turned to Doreena and asked specifically to her, but also to the rest of you, because since I don't know any of you, who is local or has knowledge of what the route would be like on the way?
I imagine I would.
You probably have the most. Do you?
Yeah, this is the next town over for you.
Right.
Oh, for me?
Concerns
Yeah.
about what this route is like? Is there anything that you know of?
I will most likely need to roll that.
Well, no, I'll just tell you because you're local. You're from this city. It's 2 days north on a road. You'll pass a forest on your east. You'll have to cross a river right before you get there, but there is a bridge. It's mostly rolling plains.
Okay.
And is there any? Have you ever felt any threat of bandits or anything on these roads, or is it pretty well secured?
Well, if it's only it's 2 days to get there, or 1 day each.
2 days to get there.
Okay. So if it's 2 days. And
As for his question about bandits, they're always a possibility. Not a high possibility, but with the instability and the panic of a plague and possible refugees, that could be more of a possibility.
All right. As we're stocking up, I definitely am going to take max rations that I can possibly take.
Okay, you actually take a third week. You get some odd looks from the kitchen staff, but nobody stops you. They were told to, open up the larders to you, give you whatever you need.
I assure them that it will not go to waste.
I'm going to have each one of you low roll a luck roll for the 2-day trip, and it's for something different. So Macrion, go.
Okay. 29 out of 70.
It does not rain. It is Britain after all. Doreena.
Okay. 57 out of 65. So I just make it.
You do not run into any refugees. Herminius.
That is 43 out of 70.
You are not attacked by any wild animals. Malachi.
45 out of 65.
You do not run into any ill omens along this path. So, for some reason, you spend 2 very smooth days traveling north. You cross the river, and about mid-morning on the 3rd day of your trip, you get to the outskirts of Venta Icenorum. When you get, you smell the city long before you get there. Just stench of rotting bodies and burning flesh, open sewers. It's a horrid smell coming, and it's kind of blowing towards you because you're going, like, the wind's coming in off the coast, and it's blowing the air from the city down the road.
That's a little too reminiscent for me. That's for sure.
And as you get there,
pull my scarf up over my nose.
You see the Legion is arrayed right outside the main gate, about 50 yards away, 60 yards away. And several of them they've got logs, and they've got all of their carpentry tools out, and there seems to be an officer directing them, and they're building something, while 2 or 3 other soldiers are gathering large stones. As you kind of look beyond these guys, you see that most of the soldiers here are armed with their shields, helmets, the works. And in the 50 or 60 yards between this line and the main gate, there are half a dozen dead soldiers laying face down, and about twice that many civilians. And it looks like there's been a battle in the last day or two. Crows are like picking at some of these bodies, but they still appear mostly fresh. You do spot one man with the crossbar helmet of a centurion who appears to be in charge. And they halt you. As soon as the caravan gets to this line, they say, "Hold here." And
Hail, centurion.
Stay back. And he comes over and he says, "Salve, citizen. This road is closed for the moment. These are supplies for the city?"
Yes, we were sent by, what was his name? I don't remember.
So
Fidelius Afer?
Good Fidelius. Do you have papers?
Yes. I assume so.
He checks the wax tablet, hands it back to you. He says, "It may be a day. It may be a bit of a wait. We've run into a bit of a situation." And he's like, he yells over to the engineer, "How much longer?" He says, "At least a day." And he says, we need that catapult. It'll take too long to bring one up."
A catapult, you say? What? He kind of like waves his hand at the corpses strewn all around. He says, "We thought there was a plague here. What has transpired?"
He raises an eyebrow and he says, "And you are, sir?"
"Oh, I am Macrion. I'm a scholar."
And your company?
Yeah. This is Doreena and Malachi and Herminius.
Everyone roll your status. Two dice rolls. Actually, 3 if you count the luck checks for travel. And I would have hit you with a storm or a bear. Just, if anybody screwed up those rolls, I would have just come up with something.
I failed 73 over 55.
He has not heard of you.
I got a 6 out of 30.
He has heard of you.
Where is status?
I have
It's a skill.
26 out of 35.
Okay, they have heard of Doreena the shepherdess, which is not odd because you live right down the road.
Yeah,
So you're from here.
Grew up with this dude.
I shot hoops with your brother in high school.
Well, and also fitting, since I'm not even remotely from this part of the world, I rolled a 100. So
okay, you are invisible.
Which actually I kind of like to be. So,
Right.
So he says, "Herminius, the finder."
Yes, at your service.
"The witch hunter, Herminius."
With that, he kind of cocks his head slightly and gives kind of a sly grin. He's like, the one and the same.
He says, "And Doreena, good. Oh. You lot walk with me."
Macrion looks offended. He's like, "Oh, the finder. Oh, I know you." And he's like, "Well," like trying to straighten.
Hey, you roll. I didn't tell you to fail your roll.
I just give dirty looks to everyone who is acting out at this moment.
Okay, as you walk with him, he says, "Here's the situation. He says, "My name is Junius Commentus." He says, "I had a group of men guarding the main gate.
Mm-hmm.
It was shit duty. Someone had to do it.
Okay.
They, after the third day, they were demanding to be transferred and rotated out of the main gate duty. Now, if you do that, you risk the plague infecting the rest of my men. And then I would have plague tents out here, and we'd need to bring up more troops. Until it was contained, I needed the gate secured.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be some unit. It turned out to be theirs. They demanded to be cycled out. I refused. They somehow got a bunch of townspeople who claimed they weren't sick and wanted to leave the city to help them. And they tried to break out. They tried to abandon their posts, and they rushed the line, and we had to cut them down. We fought them in the field. They rushed back to the gate. They've sealed it. They said they're not letting anyone in or out until they're all given horses and allowed to leave the city. There's about 20 of them now. I don't want to risk any of my men assaulting the main gate. They have crossbows, they have the high ground, they have the fortification. What I will do is I will have a catapult built to destroy that gatehouse, but that's going to take a couple of days. Now, I don't know if you're content to wait for that, but if you could help me get this situation resolved, I would very much appreciate it. And I'm sure the governor would appreciate it as well. We're trying to keep a lid on the situation here while putting as few of our own men at risk. We can't have plague running through the Legion.
Has anyone inspected the bodies? Is there any sort of anything that can be gleaned from that? The pustules, bruising, anything like that?
He goes, no, these bodies out here, they were all killed by Pelham and crossbow.
Yes, but the civilians, they don't appear to be infected?
Whether they appear to be infected or not, my orders are clear. I'm to let no one out until the Immunis inside gives the all clear that the plague is under control. And I can tell you by the moans and the stench, the plague has not been cleared. I don't mean to sound cruel or cold, but I don't care if every single person in this town dies, so long as we can contain it from infecting every city in the province. So far, we've been lucky. I would like to save as many people as I can, but I can't do that with renegades holding the gate and refusing to let supplies in.
Of course.
So all of these soldiers were killed fighting off the citizens trying to escape?
Oh, it was soldiers against soldiers with civilians mixed in.
So isn't it interesting that legionnaires would fight against their training? And I kind of say this as an aside to Doreena. I'm curious to know what kind of Roman soldiers rebel to this extent.
As a history lesson, lots. Lots and lots and lots. Rebellion in the Legion was not unheard of. In extreme situations like this, a unit that had less than perfect discipline, trying to flex their muscles in a time of stress, it wouldn't be unheard of.
Yeah, so this is a unit with less than perfect discipline.
Yes.
Here's the thing. If you had to pick one unit to stand on a duty that would have a 50% chance of getting them killed, who would you send?
Yeah, right. Yeah, to the backwater,
right.
Darkest recesses of the empire. Yeah.
I'd seen the least trained, most rambunctious.
He basically sent his, least valuable men to guard the main gate.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they figured that out.
So, I understand that you need to, and I may be speaking, I assume because I am known that I can speak, frankly.
Not only that, you're in Britannia and you're half British. Women were allowed more of a voice in this province and from your background. So you can actually speak up here and it wouldn't be unheard of.
Okay.
If you had traveled to Gaul, it might be weird. But
Okay.
in your own backyard in this province, it's not.
So he mentioned that if we were willing to take some time out to assist, I'm addressing that because we were told that we need to make this delivery and then return back because we may need to make an additional delivery. So the gentleman who sent us, who insert name here, expects us to return within the next 2 days. So us assisting would, and I agree, I imagine the party would agree with me on this, us assisting wouldn't really be beneficial to what we're supposed to be doing. So I'd kind of, unless somebody wants to stop me before I kind of talk this out, I'm going to think we need to focus more on what we need to take care of. And even though these are people that I know, went to hung out with my brother in high school type of thing, we were paid to do something. And
unless you get into the city, you can't.
Right. Yeah, I'm assuming that Getha is in the city.
Yeah.
And we were told to deliver this to him and check up on him, and without breaking the line,
right?
Then we cannot fulfill our duty.
And you have to deliver.
I'm very much looking forward to that 50% off all shop sales.
Right. The person you delivered the supplies to, Dulius Tudor, is in the city as well.
Mm.
So you can't do anything until you get into the city.
Could we perhaps leverage this as a way to also help the centurion with his problem?
He says, "Here's the thing: they don't know you. If you go up and attempt to negotiate with them, get them to release the gate, promise them whatever you want. If they come out peacefully, I will be merciful. But I need that gate, and I cannot have this city locked off. Whatever people are still in there who aren't sick, right now they're starving. These supplies need to get in. And if you can't get them to see reason, if you could distract them long enough for my men to run into Pelham range, we can take them. We can use you as a distraction and take them by surprise."
So I'm going to ask, do I know anybody that happens to be at that gate?
You can't tell, you're too far away. That would be an extreme luck roll.
All right.
But
and you couldn't roll that until you were right there.
Okay.
He says, promise them whatever you want. Just get them to relinquish control of that gate.
Okay.
Is there any idea how many of the townspeople, the villagers, are, in this rebellion, if you will?
I have no idea. I can't imagine it's too many. Not after the fiasco of their attack.
So they lost more than you.
Oh yes, most of those bodies are them, but about a third of them are mine.
Okay.
Desperate people do foolish things.
How many people inhabit the town?
Oh, several thousand.
Well, it appears we have our work cut out for us if we were to deliver these supplies and return swiftly.
Yeah, I agree. Can I roll for spot hidden to see if there's anything that I notice?
You're way too far away.
I tried.
You're like 100. You're like out of crossbow range. So it's you're gotta they pulled back out of crossbow range.
Okay.
May we
No.
advance?
Yes. Whenever we'll watch closely. I'll have my men ready to storm the gate at the opportunity. At the best opportunity. Do you want to have a signal for when negotiations have failed? Maybe you throw, take off your cloak or something that, we can notice.
That
I can take off my cloak if it gets that bad.
Okay.
My cloak is covering my weapons anyway.
So if you drop your cloak, I'll have my men rush. Up. We'll try and nonchalantly start wandering forward as soon as you make contact.
um
And again, I would rather not shed any blood. If you can get them to relinquish the gate, I'm willing to be merciful.
so then I ask that you don't move forward until we've made some sort of conversation first.
Absolutely.
Make a persuade roll.
All right. 2.
Wow.
He looks at you
Oh,
and he stares into your eyes and he's like, as you wish, Doreena.
if you want us to have a peaceful negotiation, the only way we can do this is by showing that we are peaceful as we walk in. With you moving
I never
forward,
said I wanted a peaceful negotiation. I want a successful resolution above all.
but you don't want bloodshed. So
You have it wouldn't be my first choice.
He does not want his own blood.
Yeah, I don't want it. He goes, well said, sir. He says, but Doreena, I have given you my word against my better judgment because you rolled a 2.
okay. So
He says that last part in Latin and it sounds really cool. So
I will. I'm trying to think what I could possibly do to give you a sign that negotiations have started.
We already- the sign to attack is Malachi taking off his cloak.
Okay, but all right, got it.
I mean, they're watching you. When you start talking to them, when you get all the way to the door and not get shot, they'll know that negotiations have successfully begun.
What I want to make sure is that we don't get shot walking
So
towards.
how do you want to accomplish getting to the gate without getting shot?
Well, we're not doing that.
Might I suggest that we have 8 carts with us? Might I suggest that we take one of them to the gates and we can leave the other 7 visible but far enough away?
I'm not in charge of your carts. You are. If you want to risk one of them being grabbed by the rebels, by all means. If you think that'll help your negotiating position.
With the fine soldiers within range out here, I do not think that they would risk opening the gate simply to grab one cart.
Okay, then. Again, the carts aren't. I don't have authorization over the carts. You do, so that's your choice.
Is a white flag still like a thing that's recognized at this point, or is that
whatever the equivalent of peaceful parley and negotiation? If it is a white flag back then or not, we're going to say that either the white flag is or you do the equivalent.
Okay.
So I'm concerned about leaving the carts because of the fact that there could be other people not clustered in that area. And we need to make sure everything is delivered. We have a manifest, sorry, that has what we need to deliver, and especially a specific package that we don't want taken. So people are desperate.
Mhm.
I feel that we should bring all of them with us, especially because we're coming as peacemakers. So we have nothing to hide, nor are we fearful that they're going to do anything for us. If you
I
disagree,
would be worried if we had all of the carts there. That is a mighty fine target and a mighty large treat that they might risk grabbing.
So the counterpoint to that would be that if they have their hands occupied trying to pull in 8 carts, at that point, discussion has failed, and I take my cloak off. And while they're dealing with 8 carts, the soldiers rush them, perhaps.
Very true. A trap too large for them to successfully remove in time.
Do the soldiers have any chance, any idea of how many rebels there are manning this gate? Any idea?
Oscar, are you frozen?
I think he is.
Frozen.
Yep.
Damn it.
Have we covered that? I don't think we've covered that yet.
I don't. He manning the gate. I'm not sure. He is.
I think
he's
he
uncertain about how many are actually inside, but I don't think we've covered how many specifically are on the gate.
Right. Well, while we're talking amongst ourselves, maybe we can kind of work this out a little bit.
Yeah.
Without the keeper there.
Well, so Macrion would just say if we advance under a banner of parlay, whether we bring the carts or not is not necessarily relevant. We wish to discuss terms, and they can clearly see that we have supplies that are deeply in need inside the city.
My biggest concern is he's already had men betray him. And as he said, desperate times call for desperate people. So not that I'm doubting their loyalty, but the opportunity for fresh food, the opportunity, if they're seeing other members flee, it just kind of leaves it out there. And that's my only reasoning that I don't necessarily want to say in front. So this kind of works out, that I don't trust his men. And
yeah, I actually like your point. I think there's an honesty to having all the wagons there to show them. I mean, the thing is, I am assuming that they're well-intended people. As a refugee myself, I can understand sort of the need to want to feed your people. So I can only imagine the intent isn't to hoard that just simply for the rebels, but they are trying to look out for the best interests of their fellow townspeople, which is my assumption. So even getting it, even if it's taken, it may end up still in the right hands to some extent, though potentially we don't get paid the staggering amount of money that I would love to get paid.
Which is why we are here to begin with.
yes, not politics.
Well, if the soldiers outside the wall had their minds set on stealing these 8 wagons, there are but 4 of us, and while I am physically strong and Malachi is quite a large individual himself, I don't believe that we could hold off the entire Legion.
Yeah, and I think the Legion, on the flip side, I don't think the Legion wants a fight. I think it's important for them to have this resolved, more important for them to have this resolved peacefully. Like one of you said, simply that means less blood of their own being spilt,
Right. And the troops outside are well supplied.
Okay.
They're not hurting for supplies. They brought their own food. They brought their own water. They're pretty self-sufficient. They are legionaries.
Well, the ones that, and this is off away from the channel, there were other ones that were legionaries. But if they're well supplied, there's food. The comment that I made is kind of moot at this point. But we do want to know if they know how many people.
Again, they don't. They may have recruited more in the 2 days since the battle.
Okay.
I say we go talk to them. Doreena, you're a local. You may know people here.
Mhm.
I can speak to some of their concerns myself as
Mhm.
somebody that's experienced hardships like they are.
So sorry. So Herminius, you had suggested how many we'd leave behind?
I suggest we take one or two with us. Leave the bulk of the treat within view.
Okay.
Okay. So how are you signaling other than coming up with a wagon that
We have whatever the equivalent banner of parlay would be.
okay, you get within 30 feet of the gate. And it's a walled settlement. So there's a wide road gate here. You can see that they've piled up some barrels and boxes to kind of reinforce the gate.
Mhm.
And you hear a voice from the wall say, "That's far enough."
Do I know the voice?
No.
So I will speak. It is I, Doreena.
All right, before you do anything,
Hmm.
I'm going to give you guys a piece of Call of Cthulhu advice. Check what your fast talk, persuade, and charm skills are before you start talking and negotiating.
Oh, I already have.
Because it's always
All
the
right.
one person speaking up who has base.
I mean, I have oratory and rhetoric. I don't have fast talk or charm.
So I do not have
Fast talk is
persuade.
if you're lying. Charm is if you just want to be charming. Persuade is if you want to convince them to do something.
So I have a 30 in fast talk.
I have a 40 in persuade.
I have a 70 in persuade. After all, getting people to do things is kind of what I do.
Okay, so you're at the main gate. They told you to hold there.
Blow the horse.
Ox.
Ox.
And
whatever you do to an ox.
and the gate kind of opens a crack.
Okay.
And two guys come out. They are legionaries. They look dirty. They look tired. They have pilums. And they stay. One of them is kind of looking behind you towards the line of the legionaries. The other one addresses you and says, "Well, what's all this?" It says, "We've given our orders. We're not letting any supplies in. Unless you've come to agree to our demands."
I ask, what are your demands?
He says that we want horses to take ourselves and 12 others out of here. We don't want to be followed for 1 hour. We just want, we're not sick. We just want out of this city.
But now, is it fair for you to take these horses, you such a small percentage of the town, and just leave it behind? After all, aren't you here to protect these people, your neighbors and your friends?
I'm here to protect the Empire from any of its enemies. Last I saw, a pilum or a gladius was no use against the plague. I'm not a physician. None of us signed up here to throw our lives away. And sure, we'll
Well-
take our turn at the gate. But why is it always, why does it have to be us? Let's cycle it out every day.
Well, as you speak of physician, ironically enough, that is one of the reasons that we are here. We're to speak with a physician within the town,
Not unless
as
you
well
give us our
as
pardon,
deliver
you're not
these
entering
supplies.
town.
Well, perhaps, though, if you allow us to speak with the physician, that we might be able to assist in the cause. We might be able to get you out of here sooner. And all of this will just be water under the bridge at that moment.
Right, and if I let you into the city, I lose any leverage of controlling this gate. I'm not a fool. You are not getting into the city until we have our pardon.
Well, then what if you just let us in?
Let me repeat myself. We are not letting anyone into this city until we have our pardon, until we have our horses, and we are safely on our way. Those are our demands. You either meet them or you back away from this gate before I order my men to shoot.
Friend, don't you think that your gesture of letting us help these poor townspeople with these supplies that are meant for them to mitigate the issues they're having with this plague, don't you think that would go some substantial way to your commander allowing you to meet your demands?
I don't give a piss about these townspeople. I want my unit and I off of this gate, out of this plague-ridden area, so we have the rest of our lives to live instead of wasting away with the rest of this town.
And yet, if you flee on these horses, where would you go?
We'll take our chances.
They would surely track you down.
They'll have the plague to worry about. We'll be long gone before they get to us.
How many are you that you need horses?
Why don't I just tell you their names, their ranks, and where all their families live as well? Again, I'm not a fool. And unless you have something better to say to me, this conversation is over.
Can we see how many people at all? Can we get a
You
glimpse?
see this guy and one other.
Do I know either of them?
No. They're not from Britain.
Yeah, these are, I'm assuming, legionnaires, not anybody actually part of the town.
Right.
Soldiers.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's helpful necessarily, but can I make an empire roll to see like what legion they're from, like where would they be based out of?
Oh, they're from this legion that's stationed here. The thing is, Rome never stations men where they're recruited.
Yeah.
If you join the army in like Turkey, you're serving in France because they don't want you to have friends and family nearby so you can go AWOL.
Right.
But they've been there for a decent amount of time. They could have made some connections, correct?
They clearly don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm trying to think.
They might have cared previously, but they don't care anymore.
Make a spot hidden roll.
Oh, 9. Yes.
The one guy with him is leaning heavily on his pilum, and he has excrement running down his legs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they clearly don't want to be there anymore.
Oh, they're sick.
That's I don't want them fleeing.
I will raise my hands.
The guy you're talking to doesn't look sick, but the guy next to him, he doesn't look well.
Herminius will raise his hands and just say, "May I approach?" And he'll kind of attempt to show he is unarmed, not a threat, and say, "Half distance."
He steps forward towards you, but he has his hand on his sword.
He hasn't said no, so I'll take that as an okay, and I'll start to take a few steps forward. So as long as he allows me to close distance just a little bit more, I'll say my job, my specialty is getting people what they need, what they desire. However, we need a little bit in return, not as payment, but as promise, as guys. We cannot give this to you without giving all of the suspense away to the army. If we deal with you without actually getting anything in return, then we will be killed along with you. They are not above charging the gates and killing whoever gets in front of them. I do not want to die in that process. There has to be a little bit of give before there can be all the take.
Okay,
Just
there's
as
a lot
a
of lying
sign.
going on in that statement, so you're going to have to roll a fast talk.
Which I don't really have.
I did warn you about this.
That's a 53 out of 35.
All right, that's going to be a lot of luck points to burn. He says, you're a terrible liar. They're not going to kill you. He says, but if you want a concession, how about this? I will turn myself over if they let the rest of my men, out of this city. I'll take full responsibility for the uprising as long as the others are let go. The civilians, I don't care about.
My friend, I'm sorry. I do not think that they will let you go until this plague is treatable. And unfortunately, it cannot be treated unless we get in the town and deliver the supplies necessary.
Since that is a clear
I do apologize.
Statement, I'm going to allow you to attempt a hard persuade check.
Oof. All right. Well, let's hope I get under a 35. And that is an 86.
Spend all the luck.
I don't think I have enough luck.
Can I hear this at all?
Okay.
I'd have to spend what, 51 luck?
Yeah.
Oh God.
He says, maybe you're right. Maybe they're not going to let us all out with the position we have. And he draws his sword.
I start just
and says,
reaching
and
up.
says, and says, "Drop your weapons. I'm taking all prisoners." And you see guys with crossbows on the wall, starting to come into position. What do you do? What do all of you do?
Well, we did want to get into the town.
I put my hands up. He's got a small knife, so unless they're going to search me, they're not going to.
Okay, Doreena, what do you do when you hear they're taking you prisoner?
So the first thing is I have to look and see how many people are shooting at me because
there are two people with crossbows on the wall. They won't be able to fire until the end of next round because they're kind of popping up and then they'll aim. So you've got this guy and the guy on his pilum. The guy on his pilum is starting to kind of heft it to throw, but he's not going to be able to do it as quickly as he normally would. He appears to be, unsteady feet.
And I am how far away? Because I know
you're very close to both of them.
Oh, so then I'm gonna do an intimidation and I'm going to take out my crossbow.
You're gonna take out your crossbow and say what? Like drop it and roll intimidation?
I think I'm just gonna say I'm gonna take it out and be like, listen, I'm one of these people. My concern.
No. That's not how you intimidate. That's negotiating. Intimidation.
All right, okay, fine.
It's
That's it. Drop it.
Okay, that's intimidation. Roll. Malachi, are you starting to strip?
I am. Yeah. I mean, I'm at this point. I'm sort of backing back just a little bit, but I want to get actually very close to the gate. So I'm trying to position myself on the side of the gate so that A, the centurion sees me, and B, I have a shot at leveraging myself into the gate if it goes that way.
So I rolled a 53.
And do you drop the cloak?
I haven't dropped the cloak yet.
Okay. Doreena, roll your intimidation.
53 out of 50. I'm going to use 3 luck points to make that successful.
Okay, he dropped the pilum. So the guys on the wall won't be able to act until next round. Malachi, because you position yourself.
As I'm moving over, once I get in a position, my cloak comes off.
Okay, your cloak comes off. Okay, this is what's going to happen this round. The guys at the top of the wall see Doreena holding the guy with the crossbow, and he's surrendered. They aim crossbows at you, Doreena, and they order you to drop it, but they don't have intimidate. So they're saying, drop it or we'll shoot. And Herminius, he's seeing that his man is now, immobile and disarmed. So he's going to come forward with his sword. So how do you want to handle your opponent? And then Malachi will get to you. Because something's happening for you, but let's resolve
the block out where we are exactly.
You're all by the main gate around a wagon. You've kind of snuck closer to the town to be positioned by the gate. The guys on the wall with the crossbow cannot see Malachi, so they do not have a shot anymore. Marcion, you're standing in the middle of everything with your hands up, unless you've moved. Well, and Herminius is about to enter melee combat with their apparent leader.
I was wondering whether or not I would be able to, since I'm just kind of like standing there when the guy goes for Herminius, if I could just like grab him in a bear hug.
Huh. Let's roll some initiative.
All right.
All right. This guy's 6, so he goes on 5.
So is this? It's a dex. It's just based on dex, right?
Yeah. Well, just roll 10. Let's keep it simple.
Did you say roll?
Yes.
Okay. Just a single die.
Yeah.
7.
Okay. Herminius.
D10.
3.
3. Okay. So it's going to be Marcion, your opponent, and then Herminius.
All right. So
Doreena, if you take the crossbow off that guy, they're going to shoot you. So you're having a Brythonic standoff. Okay, so Marcion, the guy is not even looking at you. So if you wanted to like jump out of the wagon and try and wrestle this guy to the ground, have at it with your brawl.
Okay, I will do so. Does he have his sword out already, or is he reaching?
Yes, he does.
Okay, all right. I just try to grab him in a bear hug so he can't use it. Here we go. Oh, 79 out of 50.
Oh.
So he starts to like go for him, and I guess he like sees me out of the corner of his eye and just like spins and then comes back around it.
It's a big enough distraction that he tries to back away so that he's not fighting both of you, like one behind him, one. So he kind of pivots to the side to get you both in front of him. So he does not attack Herminius this round. Herminius, you can press the advantage.
All right. Yeah, I'm actually gonna. Yeah, you know what? I'll help Marcion out. because I feel bad that he jumped in to save me when I put myself into such deep shit.
I did it, not you.
Yeah, so I'll kind of rush up and attempt to kind of get on the other side of this guy as well, so we create like a centurion sandwich and just give him as little room as possible to maneuver.
Are you going to attack?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll attack him. So that's going to be a 48 out of 60 for my brawl.
Oh, you're attacking him barehanded? You're not using a weapon?
No, not right now. Not yet.
Okay.
So are you punching him, or are you trying to grab him?
I'm like grabbing him.
Okay.
Trying to kind of keep
you
him.
Grabbed him. You're in a... his brawl is... You've grabbed him and you're wrestling around on the floor. You don't have him pinned, but you've managed to knock him down, but not like restrain him. So
that's okay.
His counter brawl, you're now like rolling around with him. Key moment is Malachi. This is all going to be up to you now, because you see a guy starting to push the gate closed.
Exactly. Yep. So
what do you want to do?
I want to forcibly put myself basically as a door jam.
Hit poop leg.
I have my club. I have a club out to hit anybody that basically gets in my way, and stick in the door if need to be.
Okay, so you wedge yourself in the door.
Like I just forcibly try to keep the door open.
Basically. Oh, you're a strong guy, so you shove the door back, you knock this centurion back a little bit. I want you to make a luck roll.
Is this the main centurion we've been talking to, or the six?
No, this is another guy who was kind of standing behind, ready to close the gate if it went south.
Okay, make a luck roll.
Yes.
Okay. 27. 37. My luck is something higher than that. 65.
Okay. Is that a hard success, 37?
No, it's it's almost half. It's about half.
Okay.
Was that a half? Yeah, that's a hard success. I guess it's
okay. You push him back. You like slam the door, and you end up sending this guy back on his heels. He tries to draw his sword, and he just doubles over and cramps. And you see just excrement kind of like just shoot out of him, like right down his legs, and he collapses onto his knees and cramps. But you are able to like get the gate like wide open.
Okay.
Some of the other troops who are like were supposed to be guarding this area, they start running. And before you even realize, before you get to the next round of rolling around with this guy, he is taken down in a flurry of blows from the backs of Pelums as troops just bum rush the gate. And the guys had crossbows on you drop them.
All right. So at that point, I'm going to back away because I also don't want to expose myself any more than necessary to whatever the illness is in here, and get back to guarding the wagons.
Okay. The commander comes up and says, "Good job. We know what unit is. We'll send people to find them in town. We're taking these men into custody. You can bring the rest of your wagons in and complete your mission."
Oh, I grab my cloak and my brooch too.
He pulls all of you over, and he helped you up, Herminius.
Thank you.
And he's looking you over, and he says, "Okay, you didn't get any on you. You should be okay."
Any?
He says, "You see, these men are sick."
Yeah, we noticed.
Yes.
He says their commander seemed to be okay, but so rolling around with him, if you see someone sick, I would not suggest. I mean, keep them at spear's length. Don't go toe to toe with these guys. If they're infected, that's a great way to put yourself at risk.
Duly noted.
I kind of shiver at the thought of talking about infection, and I ask, how quickly does somebody get infected, if he knows?
It takes a few days.
Do they all die when they're sick?
So
Not many of them recover.
So once they start showing signs, that's usually okay.
As you see one of the guys that they're dragging away, he goes, once they get to that stage, they're done.
Okay. I'm just concerned
He
now.
says they can't keep any food and water. It goes right through them. And they just wither away. No matter how much they drink, they die of thirst like they're in the desert. Any guesses? Any guesses? Ancient plagues for 1,000, Alex.
Dies of
Cholera?
Cholera. Very good.
There we go.
Cholera outbreak,
yeah.
which is horrifying.
Hmm.
It just sounds horrifying. I don't even know what that is, but yeah.
Oh, there was an
It's,
outbreak of it in Jamaica. What was that?
Yeah, there was
4 or
a
5
local
years ago?
cholera outbreak
wow.
in the 1800s.
Yeah.
It's a bacterial infection of the gastrointestinal.
Yeah.
It's caused by tainted water, but once you get a tainted water supply, it spreads. Anyone who's in contact with a cholera person could get cholera. It's basically just horrific diarrhea until you're dead.
Mhm.
So we need to keep possibly an eye on Herminius.
He doesn't appear to have had anything splattered on him, so he should be okay. But
Okay.
the guy who's letting you in says, I would conclude your business as quickly as possible in the city.
Okay.
He says, and we'll be checking you. Well, I'm going to have my medic check you before we allow you to leave.
Can we have the medic check him just to be on the safe side? In case there was an accidental scratch or anything.
Once you're done and you're coming out, we'll take a look at you.
Okay.
Are there any baths nearby that he could bathe in? I've found those. Perhaps not the best in this area, but if
Our
they're-
doctor has said that none of the water in the city can be trusted.
certainly not in the city. No, absolutely not here.
Possibly when we get back to my town, yes. But
Oh, trust me, I will be taking a bath when we get back home.
He says, before you go in here, take some extra water skins.
thank you.
Make it.
He says, good luck. And
Macron looks for a stick because he said to keep everybody at bay, so he's looking for like a stout pole stick.
Yeah, easily enough.
Do I carry a javelin with me? Because that's what I'm probably going to use as my poking stick.
I think you have a
Yeah,
quiver of javelin.
I should. I'm just triple checking to be on the safe side.
Yeah, you have something pokey.
Oh yeah, no, I have all the pokey things. Yeah, no, I have 6 silver tipped javelins. That's my poking stick.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, you meet with as you're entering the city with all of these supplies, all of the teamsters say they're not going into the city. They abandon the carts, and townspeople come to take the carts from them.
Oh no.
But the guys who got you here with them, they're like, we're not going in. So the 4 of you are, the townspeople say, well, thank you. Thank God you brought in these supplies. Please follow us. A lot of them don't look sick, but you can't really tell. They could be, and just not at the stage where it's really harming them yet.
And I'm just very squeamish, and you can notice a little discomfort from me.
Okay. I need everybody to make a sanity check.
Oh gosh.
Ugh.
Pass 67 under 80.
6
Okay.
under 70.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who passed? Who failed?
Pass.
Okay. If you passed, you take 1 point of sand loss. If you failed, you take 3 points of sand loss.
I just lost 3. I rolled a 99.
Oh,
Oof.
boy, that's great.
I'm gonna melt these
Okay.
dice down.
So as you're walking through the town, the stench is unbearable. I mean, it's a mix of rotting bodies, human waste. You see people like with rags over their faces coming in and out of houses, and they're piling bodies onto carts and trying to get them to the far end of town. At the far end of town, you see long lines of black smoke, and you can just smell charred flesh. And the whole city is like it just carries the stench of an open latrine, and there are rats everywhere. Following the carts, coming in and out of houses, nibbling on the dead. It is just a scene out of just a nightmare. And
Macrion, I was just
Sorry.
saying, Macrion would swing the walking stick towards any rats that tried to like jump in the cart.
Gotcha.
Yeah, same. I'm flicking any. I want none of this. I'm ultra defensive right now. I don't want to get sick. I'm sorry, but anything that comes near me is gonna get.
Okay. You're taken to the center of town where you meet with the magistrate, Dilius Tudor. And he says, "Thank you for delivering these supplies. God's blessings upon you." He goes, "We'll take them and we'll start distributing them. You have something I should need to sign?"
Yes. And Macrion pulls out the the wax tablet or the papers for him to get his signature.
He says, "You're all friendly, right? I mean,
Yes.
You're all together?"
Yes.
He says, "Okay, good. We've got a room prepared for you. It's clean. You should be able to stay there. It's in my house. We've kept the infection at bay as best we could."
What's the time of day?
It's about mid-afternoon.
We will need to see the doctor.
Yeah. I'll lean
Of
over to
course.
Doreena and be like, I'd rather camp outside. While
Agreed.
I do love having a roof over my head, I'm not sure I can stand much of this.
I whisper, I'm no stranger to living outside. More happier with that.
Okay, he says, "Yes, the doctor. Let me take you to... there's a bit of a situation there, but please come. Let me get you set up with who you need to speak to."
I grab the bag.
Okay. He starts walking towards a large warehouse towards the docks. He says, "The man you mean Novius Getha, the legionary doctor?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
He set up this warehouse as a field hospital to kind of keep the sickest there during the early days of everything." He says that but it just kept spiraling. More and more people started turning up sick. So the entire area around the warehouse has been abandoned. And then, well, I'll let one of the witnesses explain. I need to get back.
Thank you.
Again, come find me at my house and I'll show you to your quarters.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and he says that legionary will be able to help you from here. And you see there's a huge warehouse, and the whole area seems deserted, and it's dark. It's dark from even though it's still midday, it's like dark from the smoke of the burning bodies, because this is that side of town that's been mostly abandoned.
Mhm.
And there's one legionary stationed here. He's got his face covered. He looks exhausted, but he doesn't appear sick yet. And he says, "Salve, Legionary Donatus. The magistrate said you wanted to speak with me."
Yes, we are here with orders from your brother-in-law. We have a package for you. We were here to check to see how you're doing.
I'm not married, sir.
Oh, you are not the doctor.
Oh, no, sir. I'm just guarding the hospital to make sure
Oh, yes.
no one goes in or out.
Ah, yes. We must see the doctor then. Gethys?
Hopefully he's still inside, sir. It's hard to tell. You see, something happened in the hospital about 2 days ago. 7 of the healers, some local healers and army doctors, they came running out, dragging as many of the sick with them. There were some screams inside at that time. All of those people are dead now. They got very sick overnight. We decided not to investigate, and I've been posted here ever since. We just couldn't risk anyone else getting sick by going in. The doctor could still be alive. I do see lights go on after dark in the hospital. So there's still hope.
And no one else has come out since?
No one's come out since.
Well, no offense, but you are in a town overcome by plague. By what you have seen, by what you have said, this sounds different.
All I saw is the people come running out, fleeing for their lives.
Were they saying anything?
Nothing that made sense.
Oftentimes, that is the most important phrase. So, is it that they were speaking gibberish, or that their words just made no sense to you?
I don't know much. Most of those people who came out who were talking were natives, and they were speaking the local tongue. I caught a few words, and he mutters a few words with just very badly accented. Doreena, I'm going to need you to roll your Brythonic.
Okay.
Can I also roll? I have 30%.
In Brythonic?
I got a 4.
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
All right.
You got a 4?
Mm-hmm. I like this website.
98. I didn't catch it.
I guess my dice were not supposed to show up today for a reason. So
Okay.
do this.
It sounds like the word for cursed.
Okay. Cursed. Is it something that I would have heard of because of any werewolves or shapeshifters? Does it sound close to something that I've heard?
The context of it is not like it's cursed in I guess the context would be of the term someone who died badly.
Okay.
So, like an unlucky fashion.
Okay.
Right.
Not necessarily mythical cursed.
Right.
Okay. So I share that with the others, translating it. I also just make a little suggestion that it sounds more like Herminius said, bad luck versus anything that would be more of my specialty.
Well, that's good.
He says, "Do you plan to go in there?"
You did not see the doctor. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I fear we have no choice.
Well, good luck to you. I'll be out here.
Do you know where the doctor lives?
He doesn't live here. He's stationed with the army.
Okay.
He's been staying in the hospital.
So prior to what you've just described happening to them, he was always staying at the hospital, or do you have another?
He never left. He was here night and day.
Thank you.
512 feet drive.
So it's midday, so it's sunny enough.
I might be wrong. I don't know.
I guess we move forward towards the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay, you enter the hospital. You get to the hospital.
I'd say we call out, right?
Excuse me?
So I'd say that we would call out. We yell the doctor's name before actually going in to see if anybody responds.
Roll a listen.
All right. I might be able to do that. I don't know.
Have the wagons been taken? We don't have the wagons with us.
You don't have the wagons with
No.
you. The magistrate had his people come and start distributing the supplies.
Nope. I don't hear shit. 79 over 25.
Everyone can roll listen.
I got a 13 out of 60.
Go
My
one
man.
of us, 80 out of 50.
Malachi, go ahead, Doreena.
33 out of
Okay.
50. So
The two of you hear people moaning inside, but they're few and far between. It's basically a warehouse, a large warehouse. There's a set of stairs leading up to a second level where there were some kind of offices, but the main body of the warehouse, a lot of the boxes have been arranged to make makeshift rooms with sheets as walls, almost like wards, and there are cots all over the place, and the stench is just unbelievable. It's just really, really bad in here. And the corridors between the beds, as you look, there's like a layer of smeared filth on the floor and blood.
oof.
So I imagine it's one of those where we use the stick to like push the door open and then kind of look in.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I'm doing right now.
So it looks like the main body of the warehouse is where all the patients were kept, and there were rooms upstairs where the warehouse offices are, where you guess the physicians and the staff would be staying. The moaning you
Now we
heard
say
was
there's
from the
no
hospital floor.
there's no bodies or anything down here. No people, right?
You haven't entered. You're just like at the door.
Oh, true.
Looking
Okay.
around
Yeah.
and in. You assume that there's got to be
Yeah.
bodies in here. It certainly smells like they are, and you do hear there are at least some
True.
surviving people in this nightmare hospital.
Perhaps, given the status of the downstairs, we should perhaps check upstairs to see if the doctor may still be ambulatory.
So we went in.
I think we just looked.
Are you going in and going upstairs or not?
Oh, there's no. I thought there was like an outside step.
No, you have to step in and kind
Okay,
of walk along a hallway to get to the steps.
gotcha.
Okay,
He looks and shrugs at everybody.
and it's dark in here. Even though it's midday outside, it's a big, massive building. So there's not a lot of sunlight coming in.
Is there a torch near the door, like it, sort of sconce or anything, or no?
I'll make a luck roll.
All right. I will pass something at some point. Ought 4. There's a million
There's
torches.
a lamp and it does have oil.
All right, so he lights the lamp, reaches in, grabs it, and strikes
Okay,
it.
and you start going down the hall towards the stairs.
Yeah, carefully picking a path that's not stepping on shit.
That's going to be really hard here. But you do that, as you walk down this hallway, you see bed after bed after bed containing dead bodies. And the cots and the bedding are just covered in blood speckled waste. And the corpses are just all like desiccated and drawn. So again, I need another sanity check for the hospital.
10 under 79.
Okay.
36.
1 if you make it, 4 if you fail.
Oh, well, that's 4 for me. 98 out of 69.
Wow. You are what 20% of your max?
What was that?
What's 20% of your max?
That's a great question.
What's your max, Sam?
My max is what's that? 85. Oh no, 69. That would be my current, right?
Yeah.
So that's 69.
Okay.
So that's 20-ish.
Okay. Keep track because you've just lost 4. If you lose more than 20% in an hour, we're gonna have an issue.
Ooh, okay.
So you don't want to lose another 16 in the next 60 minutes of character time.
Yep.
Unlike most of the places outside, flies have been allowed to land on the bodies. So a lot of these bodies are even maggoty, and there are clouds of flies kind of covering some of them. When you go up the stairs, Macrion was like, try not to step on any filth, but there's like filth on every step.
Oh. Can I push it out of the way for everyone else?
So it's kind of smeared. It's not piled. It's smeared.
Okay.
So you get to the offices where the medical staff were, and you see one is larger than the rest, and it only has 1 bed in it, while the others have like 4 each. So you're assuming this is the lead physician's room. In this room, you find an empty cot that is just like caked in bloody excrement and filth, but it's empty. And there's a wax tablet hanging on the wall.
Does it look clean?
Nothing. It looks clean-ish, and it has a message written into it. It carved into the wax.
Okay.
So
So I would just read. I didn't know if I had to pick it up, but if we can just read it, then yeah.
I just need to lay down for a bit. Once I feel better, I'll return to the floor. Don't let me rest longer than an hour. Too much to do. Patients need me.
Well, he sounds like a good man, dedicated.
Don't let me rest for more than an hour.
Yes.
Is that because they need him or because he knows something?
Well, he said that, or the tablet does say that there's work to be done.
It says the patients need me. Too much to do. Patients need me.
Did he put a time for when he wrote? Because if he's saying wake him in an hour and it's just a sign there.
Right. No, there's no time indicating when this was written.
Gethas? Are you here?
Make a listen.
Oh, 11 out of 25.
You hear on the far end, you hear somebody faintly yell, "Help me before he comes back! Help me!"
Ecox said, he says, did you hear that?
In the name of Lud, help me! Anybody can roll a listen to see if they heard it.
There's someone calling out. They need help.
I didn't hear shit.
This way. I mean, 11. I assume I know which way I'm going.
You kind of, with an 11, you kind of got it. That's a really great roll. So you're moving through this just nightmare of a necropolis hospital, and you come to an area where you believe you heard this guy. So I need everybody to make a spot hidden. And again, like every time you approach a bed, there's like a cloud of flies lifting off the body.
I missed it. 45 over 30.
Ooh.
Regular.
49 under 50.
Okay, you find the guy. He's like, you just see his arm kind of moving and waving flies away from his face, and he's laying in a bed and he's covered with filth. But it's a middle-aged man, and he's like, thank God somebody, please get me out of here before he comes back.
Who is tormenting you?
Everybody make a listen.
I'll stand slightly behind Doreena because she has the spear, the javelin to keep the distance.
23 out of 25.
Oh, you got it.
23 out of what?
23 out of 25.
Okay. Nobody else?
15 out of 50.
Malachi? You're muted.
I'm outside, so I can't.
So you never came in?
I didn't come in.
Okay. So Macron, you hear footsteps approaching.
So he spins a little bit away from the guy and he says, someone approaches.
Turning the corner, coming towards this area where this guy is just a man in a leather apron of a physician, and he's got the rank tunic, the military tunic, and the military sandals, and he's got the satchel bag of a doctor, and he just comes kind of walking slowly into view. And it looks like he's been dead for a couple of days. I need everyone here to make a sanity check.
Start of Getha Oh.
I'm good.
32 under 70.
No!
That is 77 over 65.
Are you all yelling or anything like that?
Nobody's gone insane. You've heard yelling, you've heard people calling for help, and he's this way, and you've heard them looking for someone.
All right, I'm going to start going in.
Points. The rest of you lose 1. And he sees all of you. He kind of looks up, he nods, and he starts trying to walk around. He's trying to walk towards the patient, who's now screaming. So, Malachi, you do hear that now. And this,
I will most definitely stammer back.
I mean, he's absolutely horrific. Just, flies teeming around him, maggots crawling in his eyes. But as he's moving forward, he's going into his medical bag and he's pulling out like a vial of some kind of a tonic. And as he gets to you, you look like you're kind of standing in his way.
I hold my walking stick out towards him to like prevent him from coming close to us.
He kind of points to the guy in the bed, and he just like, oh, and you see him get more and more agitated as you're not letting him by.
Like he's just like, Doreena, this is your specialty, perhaps.
I'm gonna ask if
Does he look like a werewolf to you?
natural world. Can I try with that?
Natural world, really?
Cthulhu Mythos. I got a 12.
I have a cult.
Occult, I would allow. Cthulhu Mythos, I would allow.
Okay. I'm gonna check for a cult as well.
Oh, 26 under 55 for a cult. So that is a hard success.
There have been cases of people who have died with such a sense of responsibility or such a need for revenge that some god of mischief grants them their final wish for the strength to carry on.
He is. I've heard tales. I've read stories, and he's like, trying to like hold them back with the
Well, he
stick.
hasn't attacked you yet, but he's definitely becoming agitated because you're blocking his access to a patient.
Yeah. He died in service, and in death tries to do the same.
Now the guy's just screaming. He's not saying what the person did to him. Nothing. Just pure.
Well, he just doesn't want to be treated by a rotting, maggot-infested corpse. Go figure.
Understood. But I could have sworn he said, "Don't let this person come again."
No, he said come and save me before he comes back.
Comes back. Okay. But he has no idea what what's done for anyone else.
Malachi, you are there if you want to be. Just drawn by the moans and the screams.
So I run up and I see them all with like their various spears and pointy bits pointing at this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Am I coming up behind him?
Yes, you are.
I smack the hell out of him in the back of his head.
Okay. So that is going to be a cold
It's my job.
Okay, so you're going to give me a second. Okay, as you go to attack him, now that you're actually trying to take an action, you notice that he's just radiating. It's like as you come close to him, your spirit feels heavy. And you feel physically tired and a sense of despair washing over you in waves. So all of your attacks are going to be made with a penalty dice, which means that you have to roll the 10-sided twice and take the worst one.
Oh, great.
You are also using, you're going for a cold shot to the head, which means that you need to roll a hard success.
Okay.
So for this attack to successfully hit his head, you need to roll a hard attack success with a penalty dice.
Okay.
Does he get a? No, I would say would he get a bonus die because the thing doesn't see him coming?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because of this, whatever this magics that he has. Okay. So the first roll is a 39, which is an easy success for me, hard success for me. And the next one is an 05. So 39.
Okay, so we're going with the 39.
Yep.
Is that a hard success?
Big time. My brawl, I'm using my club, is an 85. So
okay. So you can.
It's my job.
Give me that's a successful hit, and give me a damage roll.
Okay. So the damage roll is, what is the club is? 1d6 plus my damage bonus, which is plus d4. D6 plus d4 is a 6 plus a 1, 7 points.
Okay, you crack him in the head for 7. He turns around quite angrily,
Ah, crap.
draws a gore-covered gladius. Because he is a military doctor. He is armed from under his leather apron, and swings it at you and misses. And he's moaning and grunting at you. And the guy in the bed is like trying to crawl out of the bed, screaming, and like crawl across the floor just to get away from the horror of it all. Oh, and Malachi, I need you to make a sand check now. You didn't make one before.
Yeah.
Twice. One for the hospital and one for the guy.
Okay. Okay, 17 for the first one for the hospital.
That's 1 point. You're fine.
And 55. So yeah, I made the next one. So is it another 1 point?
Another 1 point.
So I've lost 5 points total. So
You're fine. You're like Jerusalem during the Third Jewish War was worse than this.
Yeah, I saw way worse in the refugee camps. So.
Yeah. Okay. So somehow Malachi is not very phased, but okay, that's good on him. He's attacked and drawn its attention. What do you guys want to do? What do the rest of you want to do? Macreon.
Can I just swing the stick at it?
Roll.
All right. Is it a straight roll? Because I'm like
Brawl.
5, but it's like no penalty die. It's like 5 or 6 feet away.
Oh, you've got a penalty because you have that wave of despair.
Yep. I didn't know if I was close enough. Yep.
Right. So all attacks are with a penalty. Are you going for his head or just trying to hit his body?
No, he's just swinging.
Okay.
All right. So I got a 16 or a 36.
Okay, we're going 36.
And my
and is that a hard success?
No, my unarmed is 50, so hard would be 25.
Okay. You hit him, it does no real damage. You hear bone, like the shoulder blade kind of crack, and it doesn't seem to affect him at all. Doreena.
So I have my javelin out, but I want to use it to knock him off his feet or try. So I'm trying to go for just hitting him in the legs with.
That would be a cold shot, and it'd be just as hard to. Actually, sorry, you're stabbing with the javelin?
No, I want to see if I can just.
Okay, go for it.
Sure. So I get 2 rolls. First one. Oh fuck.
Okay, no. Herminius.
Yeah, I think he's actually pretty thrown off right now. So he is just going to take a handful of steps back, pulling his knife out, but attempting to kind of recondition and center himself before wading into things.
Okay, so it is now the top of the next round. We're going to go Malachi. We're going to then go Getha, and then the rest of you. We're going to keep that cycle going. 1, 1, and then 3.
Yep.
And penalty dice again.
Yeah.
Okay. 02. Nice.
Okay,
And
you need to roll. Give me one more 10.
And a 71, which is not gonna.
Okay, so you missed.
Yep.
You get so excited, bro.
And he stabs you with the gladius for 5 points.
Oh, that's gonna be real bad.
Oh, and it's gooey too.
Do you have armor?
You're muted.
I do have armor. I'm sure that has an asterisk next to it too for the damage, but we'll come to that later, I'm sure. I do have armor. I have 1d4 plus 1.
So roll 1d4.
Roll 4.
Roll.
A 2.
So that's 3 points less than the 5. So 2 points of damage. The armor absorbs most of that hit.
The negative?
And he's holding, as he stabs you, he's like holding up a hand and he's like moaning and he's like trying to almost talk to you as he's fighting you.
It's like he's trying to reason with us.
Yeah.
Okay, Marcion.
I think he starts to like circle around to try to get out. This is we must flee. This
You hear another person deep in the hospital saying, "Don't leave us! Some of us are still alive."
The what?
You hear another patient in another area screaming, "Don't leave us! Don't leave us! Save us! Help!"
Okay. I thought I heard something else. All right. Thank you.
he kind of like
you can get around him as he's focused on Malachi. So if you want to run out of the hospital, you can.
I don't know that he would run out. Maybe when he hears the people screaming, I feel like I should make a roll. I kind of feel like maybe he would pause.
Force you to do something moral.
I don't know if he
the right thing or not. You don't have to roll. Marcion stands there in confusion and torn by his inner demons.
Yeah.
What do you do this round?
So
at this point, if you go for his legs, you may hit Malachi.
Yeah, no, so
they're like toe to toe.
I'm not going to try to go for his legs. Is there a possibility for me to get around him and possibly grab Malachi at the same time?
That would impede his ability to defend himself.
Okay. I'm not sure what's going on, and I'm not sure if I should take him with me as I'm trying to leave.
So he's only hurt for 2 points. He's doing probably pretty well against the thing.
Okay, so I'm just going to try to get around to the opposite side. I'm not leaving, but I just want to get some distance.
Okay. Herminius?
Yeah, he doesn't do great around dead bodies, especially ones walking around. So he actually is going to try to make a dash towards the door.
Okay, you can get out. You will hear other people in the hospital calling for you to help them.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Okay.
Bunch of kind-hearted people here.
Okay. Malachi, what do you do?
Well, I'm done trying to hit him just in the head. I'm just hitting for maximum damage at this point. So I'm going to hit him again. But I'm not just hitting for the head. I'm just trying to hit him and do damage. So a 45, which is definitely a success, and a 40. So I hit him.
Okay, you hit him in his body. You hear bones crack, but it doesn't seem to stagger him in any way.
Should I even bother rolling damage dice then? Is that what you're basically saying? No.
Unless you make a cold shot for his head, the damage doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. All right. So I make note of that.
Zombie.
He tries to hit with the gladius, and misses. But as you missed and he missed, it's almost like a half-hearted swing, and he starts trying to turn away from you and back to the patient.
Holy crap! What a crazy curse! I yell out, "He's cursed!"
Okay.
Hey, I'm not the doctor here, right? Like, I'm not the scholar. I'm just the bodyguard. Come on.
So the three of you specifically said you're going to get around him and try and get out, which means that you've left the patient open, and he kind of like walks past Malachi and goes back to trying to treat this guy. unless you attack him. He really just wanted to get past all of you.
What does the treatment and I mean, does it look like he's treating him as a physician would treat?
Do you want to watch him go over and do what he's going to do? Do you want to observe him?
Yeah.
I think so because of the phobia mania thing. Like he's wrestling with like we need to help, but like it freaks me out because they are sick and like
he goes over to this guy who's just screaming and weak and picks him up, puts him back in his bed, and then goes over to a bucket with some rags and comes over to him. And the guy is like screaming. He straps him down to the bed as if he's delirious and then tries to start cleaning him, with this bucket of rags. But the bucket of rags is just filled with like filthy, like black water. And it's like a rag caked with blood stains. There are flies coming off of it. So he's trying to clean the guy's lower body, and he's just spreading more filth all over it. But he's trying to do what a doctor would do normally.
Yeah.
What a poor son of a bitch.
But of course, this guy, you realize that he must be spreading infection wherever he goes.
Yeah.
All right, and because you observed all of that and understand the full horror of his existence, let me get another sand check. Except you, Herminius, are now outside.
Hi.
53 under 77.
You're okay then.
Okay.
If you all made it, you're all fine. You don't take any additional sand loss. So you do have an understanding of what his condition really is.
He says to Doreena, he says, it is ill humors to get too close to him. Perhaps with your crossbow, you may be able to eliminate him.
So I'm very torn right now because one, I'm not sure if it looks like he's trying to do something good. But I also need to make sure that I don't get any of this, and I don't want anyone else to really be bothered by this. Not bothered, but just spreading what he's spreading. So I will take a shot. But
if it helps at all, I'm screaming in the background, hit him in the head. While I'm getting ready to swing and do the same thing.
All right, yeah. So I'm going for a headshot then.
Okay, hold on. If she's firing her crossbow at his head, you don't want to be anywhere near Malachi. You'll be in her line of fire.
Can she step off to one side while she's...
If she misses, you're still at risk.
Okay. Well, I guess we did sort of let him go over just to see. I've been trailing right on him, but I'm happy to step aside if someone wants to tell me to do that.
Yeah, I'm telling.
Okay. I definitely step aside.
Okay. Right. You'll still have to make a hard success with a penalty dice.
Oh, it has to be a hard success with a penalty die.
To hit him in the head, yes.
So that's all. Right now I have a 54, but it's not a hard success.
So that's it. You fire it and it hits like into his neck, does nothing. And he looks over like, the fuck? Like, why did you shoot me? Open, like he doesn't understand why you guys keep attacking him.
And he's like,
Malachi, you don't want to step in because All right, so he looks really mad now.
I'm stepping back. I'm gonna
Gladius again, and he just stands there and he's like moving his arms around, grunting. and you get maybe in his deranged state, he is in his way, he's trying to talk to you, or he thinks he's talking to you, but all you hear is just, moans and grunts and nothing that makes any sense.
And we never looked inside the bag he was supposed to get.
You have it with you.
I mean, it was a care package. It was wine. It was extra clothes. Oh, to show him what's okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I never got a chance to look at it, so I'm kind of kicking myself in case there was something in there.
Well, you saw it. You saw what was in it when you were given it.
And there's nothing that I would think would apply to the situation at all.
Well, you could use a change of clothes.
No, that's not going to help him. Not at all. If he's decaying and he's far past that. I was hoping that there was some odd object in that bag that would make me think of something, but no.
I mean, if we're in...
well, make an idea roll.
Oh, what's my idea? What is my idea?
It's a standard INT check.
Thank you. I know Jack.
Anyone can roll it.
All right. 35 under 75. That's a hard success.
There's a letter from his wife and another from his son.
I believe he said there was letters in the package. Maybe improper to read them, but perhaps it would reach into his old mind.
Mm-hmm. No. So now the other thing I'm thinking is that if things were worse, we had to go back anyway to bring something else. But that's a side note. Sorry.
Any value in a general idea?
Hold on.
I mean, so to the idea that we had the idea roll. I'm assuming, like, as GM, like, hey, here's your out, or because the other option, Macron is thinking to just grab a rope, try to lasso this guy, take him outside, and let the legionary dispatch him. Like, he's got to go.
I do have 50 feet of rope, so that can be done. He's not physically harming. I know he's doing harm, but he's not necessarily only to us, and that's because we initiated.
Yes, but he is trying to proceed as a physician, as his goal here was to help people, but he's animated with something beyond life, and he is no longer capable of administering the aid that these people require.
I'm okay with removing him. So if that's what we want to do, that's fine. I'm also still kind of okay with executing him at this point.
I rolled a 15 out of 90 for my idea roll. I had the general idea, these people are all dead. Why are we putting ourselves at risk? Even the ones that aren't dead yet, they're dead. I feel like we probably need to just get out of here at this point.
Should we read his wife's letter to him?
If it doesn't put us in any harm, sure. But he's speaking words of wisdom, so I'm going with what Malachi is saying out loud, that what are we doing here? I'm assuming you're speaking out loud, correct?
I did speak out loud. I will still keep myself in between the doctor and the rest of the party, though, but I am definitely encouraging that we get out of there.
So, Macron, do you want to read in the letter?
I will, yes.
As you start reading, he does hear you, and he turns away from the patient, and he comes over, and he just holds out his hand.
He, looks warily and then hands the letter over, unconvinced that he would be able to read it with maggots in his eyes. But
He does look through it, and points to the bag.
I hand it over.
He goes through it. He nods, and he starts walking up, down the hall, and up the stairs to his office. And as he gets to the stairs, he waves for you to follow.
All right, I'll follow him with some distance with my club ready. Or actually, I switch over to my gladius ready.
Okay. He goes upstairs. He changes his clothes. He reads the other letter. He goes to the wax tablet on his wall. He erases the message. And he writes. And it's nothing but gore and scribble. But he then hands it back to you.
Hands the letter back.
Yeah.
and the tablet is illegible. It's
Yeah.
just like
He only read one of the letters.
He read both.
Okay. So we got the letters back. We've delivered what we needed to technically deliver.
Okay. And then he nods and he tries to walk past you to go back down to the ward.
However you say in Rome in Latin, GTFO.
Yeah. I mean,
It sounds like SPQR, right? I mean, it's very similar.
so I don't want to be, once again, I don't want to be infected. And he doesn't seem like he's going to really hurt anyone. So I'm good.
Well, he's hurting plenty of people.
In there, he's contained in the hospital, correct?
Yeah. You don't know
We
what
did
he'll
our-
do when the last patient dies.
Well, we did what we have to do, and he's not really hitting any of my boxes here, so I'm okay with going.
Okay. You can all, I'm not forcing you to stay here.
No, I'm just sharing. Sorry.
Macrion says, I understand your position, but I feel as if this is the situation that I know that you and I and perhaps the other two are familiar with, that goes beyond the normal things that citizens deal with. We spoke of your speciality before. While this may not be that specifically, it's something that certainly needs to be dealt with. We cannot just leave this situation untended.
Can we deal with the situation outside of the building?
As long as he remains inside, if you perhaps mean to set the building on fire, then yes, I would agree. Otherwise, I believe it will be needed. We need to deal with it in here. Or if we could perhaps grab that, he wasn't a centurion, but the legionnaire from outside, perhaps his skill with a blade would be better.
Oh, you guys have no problems. You guys have all the skills you need. Malachi is probably a better fighter than the legionary outside.
I feel like this is status quo right now, to use my Latin. Nothing is changing. He's not a threat to us immediately. The people in here are dead, even if they're not yet dead, as far as I can tell. What we could do maybe is look around very carefully at the rest of the patients to see if there is anybody that we maybe could get out. But until we have a better way of killing him, it may very well be that just some good blows to the head eventually will take him down.
The blow you did kind of caved in half of his head. So I mean that was the what the damage you did do to him was significant.
Mm-hmm.
So another hit like that, maybe two, and it'd probably be nothing left to him.
All right. Do you all want me to kill him? Or, I mean, he's already dead. Do you want me to stop him?
If you
Make
are
him deader.
if you are willing, I believe that is the only solution to this problem. The epidemic here will run its course, but with the supplies that we have brought, hopefully things will get better. But if he leaves this building, there will be no stopping it.
Very good. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm essentially here, as far as I'm concerned, I'm hired to be your beck and call muscle. So my only concern is that he do no more harm. So if we think he might go out after this and care for more people, then I think the prudent thing is to dispatch him as humanely as we can.
All right, he doesn't really pay much mind to you, so you can go right up to him and attack before you really respond.
So I'm gonna go up right behind him and just very carefully and deliberately swing with all my might. So it's not, I'm not like in combat. I'm just taking my own sweet to hit him as hard as I can.
Give it a shot.
All right. Oh, actually, before that, I'm switching back to the club.
Okay.
Thinking about it, it makes more sense to switch back to the club anyway for bludgeon damage. Okay, 44, which is just barely a critical hard, and a 99.
Well, so
Okay,
you only roll the tens die over again.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I don't have to do, well, yeah, so I failed one of them.
Yeah.
Does anybody else wish to attack at the same time?
So with the 99, I pretty much just damn near hit myself.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was talking shit, so I'll go back up and swing again with the stick.
Okay,
Only
go
so
ahead.
the distance. All right, so let me grab my die. All right, so I got a 76 or a 66, which is going to be over, so neither one of those.
Okay, Doreena?
So Malachi's gone back upstairs, and Marcion has as well. I'm
David
seeing
got
them. Yes. So I'm going to go up as well. I still have, I hate to do this, but I have a javelin already in my hands, so it'll probably be easier to use that. I'm going to try for the head.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. 56, which is not a
Okay, then that's going to be it.
Yeah.
Okay, again, you attack him. He appears very confused. And he misses. He turns and, draws his blade, swings at someone, and misses. Herminius, while you're outside, that guy that was crawling around on the floor gets to the door.
Okay. Is the door still open?
Did you close it behind you?
Well, Malachi was the last one in.
Or you were the first one out?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'll kind of put my foot against the door and kind of slowly close it behind me.
After this guy is out or before?
No, before he gets out of the room.
You just hear him.
That's right. I'll start to kind of like walk backwards, and I take a plum out and start to eat it.
All right.
Keeping my eye on the door, like walking backwards.
I hope that plum is clean.
It's new. I took it in with me.
All right, party's around.
Go ahead, Niels.
You're muted.
I hit. So I rolled 2 dice. I rolled, both of them were under
Good. Give me damage.
2 and 2. So 4. Yeah, that's it, right? Yeah, 4. 4 hit points. 4 damage. Yep.
All right, give me attack rolls, your other two.
Okay. Instead of baseball swinging it this time, he's just going to go overhand and try to just crush the top of his head. So it's going to be a 57.
We're all just like, bam, bam.
So it won't matter. Yeah, so I assume it comes down on his shoulder as he's sort of staggering and breaks
Doreena?
the stick.
So, is there anybody in front of me?
No, they're kind of surrounded this guy. So
Okay, so if I take out a crossbow, no one's in my way.
no, you've got a clear shot this round.
Okay, so I'm going to take out my crossbow, and no. I'm just like, la-di-la-di-da.
What if she just went up like point
All right.
blank right up against his back of his head? Just went,
Malachi had actually done enough to put him down, and he falls.
All right,
Oh,
so he's
That was an
You hear some
unpleasant.
faint screams from the makeshift hospital. There are a few patients left alive here. Not many, but a few.
alive in what type of condition?
Well, they're in a plague ward, so
And they've
they're
been
all sick.
being scrubbed with filthy rags.
honestly, we should be going around to see if they actually need to be put out of their misery more than anything, I think. But
Well, you'd have to make a medicine check to see. But
Have they pooped themselves?
Trying to think if I actually do this to my sheep. Most likely. I understand putting them out of their misery. Or should we leave that up to the people outside?
I am not a physician myself. I feel like that call would be better made by one of the legionary.
are there any other doctors? Do we know? Was this the only camp?
you don't know if there are any other doctors in town.
Uh,
I mean, it's a large town. There had to be more than one doctor.
I am at this point where we've successfully done what we needed to do, and we've also taken care of him. I'm ready to walk out and leave this to the town.
Yes, I concur.
Okay.
Has anyone seen Herminius? He starts looking around.
So to leave this place, you're gonna have to step over a guy who somehow miraculously crawled to the door and been locked in.
By Herminius, who's eating a plum outside.
Yeah, right.
So we see the person, and I'm yelling, "Herminius, open the door!" Does he hear me?
The legionary comes and opens the door.
Did you see the other of our party? He's yay big.
That guy over there, he's with you.
Yeah, I'm probably like 40 or 50 feet off.
But now the person's still there, half alive, correct?
Yes.
Does the Legion know this? The soldier, he knows
The
this?
legionary says, "Did you find the doctor?"
The doctor is passed on.
Okay. He says to this guy on the floor, "You just wait here. I'll summon someone So I'll summon one of the doctors to come and take care of you. Just, try and lay still. And he says, I can't leave my post. Why don't you go back to the magistrate and report? Tell him to get some medical personnel over here.
Good. At least
Is there
there's
any
another.
threat inside other than illness?
No, no longer.
Okay.
We didn't really look around anymore, though. But
The immediate threat has been
as
taken
far as
care
we
of.
know, as far as we know,
Okay, so you get back to the magistrate and you tell him what?
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, on the way over, I think Macrion says, "Have you, either of you, Herminius, Malachi, have you ever experienced anything like this before?"
Herminius, in his witch hunting time, has he ever come across a sorcerer that can raise the dead?
More than once, yeah. It's pretty
Yeah.
common.
I have encountered somewhat similar beings. This organization called the Eternal Fellowship, I fought members of it. They were cannibals that ate human flesh in order to become immortal. It's the only thing that I've ever encountered, if you can believe that.
Yeah. I actually have run across them once or twice myself as well.
Yes. So then you are familiar with the. He kind of like looks around the Shadow War, the Eternal War.
Wait, so all of us are familiar with this?
So it would seem.
Isn't that interesting?
I believe that this is best kept amongst ourselves. There's no reason to spread any of this information. We can just tell them that the doctor had succumbed to the epidemic and that the noises that they heard were the struggles of those still affected.
Okay, you tell the magistrate that. He thanks you. He says that they'll send people to treat who's ever left and try and clean up the facility the best they can, even if they have to burn it. He says that he'll have fresh water brought up, as best they can to your rooms so you can clean up.
I'm pretty sure we have water with us.
Yeah, you've got to get the black water.
What time is it?
It's dusk.
So I say this aside, not in front of him. I asked the party, would be more comfortable starting our journey because this would be delaying us and we need to get back right away. And see if anybody agrees with me.
I'd say we
I
camp
did not-
outside with the legionaries and then go in the morning.
I agree wholeheartedly. I do not think that we should begin our journey tonight. We would end up having to camp in the wilds or on the road. But yes, camping with the legionary definitely does sound preferable to staying within the walls of the town.
Okay, so what do you do?
I would concur with the other two. Doreena, I know we are on a somewhat of a tight schedule. Would you assent to at least waiting until the morning?
Outside of the walls, yes.
Yes, indeed.
Do we have the wagons with us, or are we leaving? Are we supposed to leave those, or do we have to bring them back?
You thought you had to bring them back,
Oh,
Great, now we have to find them.
but they've actually. You don't see the oxen. You see the wagons, but the oxen are no longer on them.
So I guess we would say to the magistrate before, explain that we would prefer to stay outside the walls if they could have the oxen and carts ready for the morning.
He laughs and he says, "Oh, wouldn't we all?"
Well, yes, but we may, and we shall.
Well, no, I don't think that you can. The
In what?
legionary, the army's orders are quite clear. Didn't they tell you?
Yes, we spoke with the centurion, and he said as we were leaving that we would be checked out and allowed to go.
Right. When the quarantine's lifted.
They did not mention anything about the quarantine. We were told that we can leave when we need to.
Well, good luck with that. He says, if they let you out, I'd be surprised, but I'm sorry they weren't more clear.
Hmm.
And it is true, when you get to the gate, they have no intention of letting you out of the city until the quarantine is over.
Well, that was
And the
some.
guy at the gate says, I have a note from the commander. And he says, you had some assumptions that weren't true. Sorry I didn't clarify, but I did give you extra water. I hope you make it, and I'll buy you a drink when all this is over. I have my orders, I'm sorry.
All right,
I'm
so
going
we
to
have
be
to
buying
establish.
him a cell when we get out of here.
We have to establish a place where we can camp by ourselves. Then
They did offer you a clean room in the magistrate's house. You have, thanks to Marcion, thanks to Malachi, about 2.5 weeks of food and water.
I've also hold up. I got some too.
I was just about to start giving all that away, so I'm glad I didn't do that.
I have the additional 2 weeks that were already with me. So
Okay.
Oh, nice.
You
Yeah.
hold up in this room. Malachi, I need you to make a con check.
I have spices.
wait, I don't get a separate room?
No, they said when you came in, you guys are all together, right? And you said,
I
yeah.
I was trying.
You're still
muted,
muted.
Neil.
35 out of 70 on my con check.
Okay, good. That wound takes a few days to heal, even though it's just two days. But a week later, you're still holding your water.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I need everyone else to make a con check.
These are where the points disappear.
Oh, all right.
Ooh, 12 out of 60. So that's extreme.
Nice.
Do I want to spend 15 luck points?
Probably.
Do you want to catch cholera?
Nah, I'll take 20 luck points away if I need to. 15 luck. I'll do the math now. Not taking that chance.
Herminius?
We got 27 out of 65, so that's a hard
Okay.
success.
3 weeks later, just as your food and your water is running out, the epidemic is past. Anyone who was going to die of it has died. Anyone who was going to recover has recovered. And you were examined by the physicians and allowed to leave. Okay, so that's the adventure.
I assume in those 3 weeks we regale each other with tales of our shadow
You get
war
to know each other
experiences.
really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, you got to experience Queens in March.
Yeah. Yeah.
The five of you in one room with, no leaving, no eating out, just what food you had there.
Right.
So either we're best friends now, or we fucking hate each other.
Right.
Or both.
Like,
And me, exactly.
Now, Herminius, I am definitely regretting leaving you in the room. I probably hear about that for about a week and a half.
If I thought I was ever gonna see you alive again, I wouldn't have thrown you under the bus.
Exactly right. To be fair, I thought you were all gonna die. So,
And the reason the oxen were dead is they slaughtered them.
I think
oh yeah, no doubt.
I mean,
That's
they
some
knew
good
before
eating.
we did that we were stuck
Yep.
here. So
Yeah, they assumed you knew. They ought and it's funny because they were dropping hints. Like I was giving you a chance, and nobody questioned it.
yeah,
They're like, oh, we have a
I
room
get
ready for
insight.
you, and they're like, okay.
You made it.
Why? We're leaving right away. I'm like, no, you're not.
Right.
But nobody
Clear it
spoke
all.
up.
We still had to try.
Okay, now you actually could have tried to reason with the doctor and told him that his shift was over and made some fast talk persuade rolls, and he would have just laid down and died.
I
Yeah.
thought about it.
Had you guys kind of gotten through to him, you might have kind of told him, look, you could have lied to him and said, we're your relief. You've been working too hard, you're tired, you're off duty. And he would have just found a nice chair and let go of his sense of duty.
Frankly, I feel okay with helping him punch the clock one last time.
Yeah,
I
this
have an
creature-
intelligence of 90, but that's not what I'm paid for. So
So this creature is called a plague martyr, and it will be featured in this year's Octobernomicon, one of the new monsters in on Shoggoth.net.
Nice.
So
Nice.
giving our friends over at Shoggoth.net nice shout out and a thank you for letting me use one of my entries this year in this adventure.
sweet.
this is awesome.
Cool. It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one. I like this one a lot.
I almost went insane.
I tried to make it as vivid, but
Yeah.
yeah, way too close to home these days.
Yeah, I was about to, as soon as you started talking about like quarantine and the play, and I'm like, no, this is
As I'm
Yeah.
typing away essential
Hold on,
workers.
issues. This is how I deal with mine.
Wow.
It was not a nice spring in New York, I'll tell you that
Right.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have all like compared, old war stories and stuff like that now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Probably have a pretty good idea of each other's strengths and weaknesses and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Mhm.
Comparing and contrasting stories about the eternal fellowship.
So yeah, exactly. So my question, is it just, obviously it's just a mechanism of gameplay, or were we selected because the fellow that hired us had an idea that this was happening, that there was something more sinister going on?
No, he had no idea.
Okay.
This wasn't a setup. It was just, wrong place at the wrong time.
So I imagine he's going to find out eventually his brother-in-law's dead.
Yeah.
Do we get our money?
Yes, you do.
Yes. Cool. Adding it to my purse now.
Nice.
How can you ship stuff back to Rome? Is it easy enough to ship money back to Rome, or like?
They actually have a banking system,
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
and they have a courier service.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's not difficult to send mail and gifts and transfer money.
If we can be somewhat assured of further such lucrative business, I'm more than happy to stick around and help you all provide some muscle if we're sticking together. And I can send this amount of loot back to my family. I'd be very happy. So
Well, as you can see, I am somewhat weak of leg, so an extra sword or two might not be that bad to have around.
Oh, I also am very interested in getting some kind of Warhammer type thing, because having to club a dude that doesn't want to die with a wooden stick
Here's the thing that's really good about a club.
Yeah.
It's not illegal to carry.
Yeah. I
Most
understand that.
bladed weapons are.
Okay.
Even a knife. Everyone carries a knife, but they're technically illegal. So unless you're a soldier, carrying anything larger than a knife is really illegal and really odd to be carrying it openly. But nobody really questions a club or a staff.
Yeah, that's so. I have a gladius that I keep under my cloak, but I feel like for some circumstances I might want to have something. Maybe it just looks like kind of like a big work hammer kind of a thing.
It would probably do the same damage as a club, to be honest.
All right.
I mean, you have a club, but you have a club that's like bound with iron and brass studs.
Oh, can I? Yeah, maybe I can upgrade my club a little.
No,
bit.
that is your club. You have a really,
Excellent.
it's not just like a stick you found.
It's got a lead rod.
Yeah, it's a dedicated combat system called club.
I make sure to meet up with Julius and get all of my weaponry refreshed, restocked. Because
Easily.
if you guys are going to stay around, I'm sure something's going to just fall in my lap.
And when you get there, he says, actually, when a colleague, I was talking to a colleague of mine who said that, I explained that I had you on retainer and that you were caught up in the quarantine. He might have work for you and said to send you west once you were out of quarantine, as long as you weren't sick.
I'm
So if you're
hoping
interested, I can send you to possible another employer.
Give me all the money.
Okay, and that's where we'll pick up next time.
Okay.
Cool. And then mechanically for mark next to, then I'm assuming this is the way we're going to do it, Oscar. At the end of the session or before we play next session, you roll against that skill. So like I succeeded at a spot hidden, which is 30. So if I roll again and it comes up over 30 and I fail it, then I get to roll a D10 and add that to the skill. Is that right?
Right. You get to roll a skill check, anything that you successfully rolled, and you want to fail it.
Because if you succeed, then you don't add anything.
Right. So it's a lot harder to get points in a skill that you already have 80. But it's pretty easy to get skills in a skill that, get points in a skill that you only have 20.
Gotcha.
Ooh, I also made a listen check. Sweet. Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for playing. Thanks, Oscar, for running. Thanks for creating a special scenario for our inaugural episode. That's super cool.
I thought this would be a good low-key intro. And, something special. It's always fun to be the first team to play something.
Yeah. Definitely.
Agreed.
And a good way for the players kind of feel each other out a little bit too. Like I played with Jesse a ton, and Oscar, I played with you a bunch, but Regina and Niels, we've never played before, so it was nice to be able to kind of get in and sort of see where everybody was at.
Right. All right, so we'll be in touch and probably in another 2 Wednesdays.
All right, sounds good.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for everything.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
All right, well, thank everybody for stopping by and checking this out. I'm not sure exactly when these are going to hit the feed. We do have stuff scheduled out mostly through the end of the year, so as our situation with Neil sort of works its way out, we're going to see sort of where these slot in. They will be available on the Patreon, I think, probably starting this week coming up. So this one will drop right away. If you're interested in supporting the Patreon, that's awesome. We thank you and we appreciate it. Ratings, reviews on iTunes and things like that are immensely helpful. If you don't want to spend any money, which is totally understandable, especially in these COVID days where there's so many people who aren't working, Reviews are an easy way to help get some eyes on things. And if you're a coffee aficionado, we do have coffee for sale. We have that legendary brew. There's a link in the show notes. You could also hit up tinyurl.com/legendary brew. The legendary brew is a medium roast. It's a nice, easy drinking coffee. If you use code LEGENDS10, you're going to get 10% off your order, and shipping is always free. So thanks again for checking us out, and we'll catch you next time.